All right, this is Besednice, the town that Moldavite comes from. We're gonna go dig it. So this is southern Bohemia. All these houses kind of look like this. There's a lot of tiny communities in the area where you just drive through random back roads and you just hit communities of like, 100, 200 houses, and then it's just done, and you hit another community within like 5-10 minutes. And so they're kind of dotted like that. The parking here, super easy, paved all the way. You can get those cars in. This is what it's like. Come through the gate here. There's that miner's shack and the pit. Now you'll see fields all around. There you go, down that way. So about 30 kilometers in any direction from Besednice, whatever the town is. There's Moldavite. So you can go about 15 kilometers away, 20 kilometers away, and I've talked to people that go to mines there. This is a smaller mine. There's multiple mines in the area, and there's some that are massive compared to this. We're talking like 20, 30, 40 times bigger kind of thing, with the holes in the ground. A lot of the professional Moldavite miners actually take speed. About 80% of them take drugs to get the extra energy because they have to move so much earth by hand. Sometimes people go out and dig illegally, and the cops get called on them, like the farmers from around there. You'll call the cops. The cops just tell them to move on, so they don't really get arrested or anything. And that's been a big issue with the Moldavites for the mines that pay all the permits, and with this there's safety issues and stuff. So it's a challenge to compete with the illegal miners. Okay. This is inside the Moldavite mine. There's a little shack where you check in and you get your hammers, there's security stuff, all that. So they've roped off a bunch. We're essentially working inwards on this bank, and the idea, you can see with the pickaxe, is you're just moving earth. The guy described it well as like the more earth you move, the better. So let's say you move about 20 kilos, you might find 1 gram. Move 100 kilos, you find, 5 grams or whatever. So it's about just processing this earth out. You don't want to sit down and check each clump kind of thing, because you're going to see black wherever the Moldavite is. It's going to be a black dot, kind of like this. And so you check those when they come out. They're darker. So there's smoky quartz in here, which is going to throw you off, and that's that piece I just held up. I'll show you a couple more right here. So there's lots of shards. They don't have terminations, but they're the same color as the Moldavite. They're slightly more gray tone, lighter gray. The Moldavite looks black. So here, that's a piece I just showed you, isn't it? So you're going to process through, and the Moldavite is shiny on one side and usually dark on the other, but you'll spot it because it is, I've only found one piece and it was big, but it was darker than the others. Let's see. So that's a piece I found. But you can see that black compared to, let me find a smoky quartz here. There you go. Moldavite smoky in the shade, slightly blacker. So I think that's what he's going on about. It's tough to know because he speaks very broken English. Very nice guy, like wants to help you and everything. Just he speaks enough English to get you going, but that's about it. Anyway, so you're processing with the pickaxe. Just keep moving it, breaking it apart, pulling it down the slope. So as you shatter it and pull it down the slope, you're going to check it as you're rolling through it. Use the pickaxe here, and you'll roll through the chunks when you've got enough of them like this, and you'll pull them down towards the base. If there's nothing in there, you scoot it to the side and grab more chunks, and you just keep moving and moving through.
Very hard work.
Yeah. Gotta move a lot of earth.
Big hole. But how first have Voltavin? Nobody have Voltavin. Men from Canada, yes.
So the idea is the Moldavite exists from about 1 centimeter down from the dirt to about 5 meters. So you'll see that's about the depth they've gone with their dig site here. You need gumboots. It's pretty muddy, it's wet clay. This dries out to a harder, kind of like a sandstone type thing, sedimentary, right? But it's sparse. This hole I've dug here, that's all, you know, there's a shovel for reference. Dug through all that and I've got one piece so far. So you have to move earth. And all these other people have moved that much. They haven't found anything yet. Hopefully they do by the end of the day. But it's labor intensive. I got blisters and it's only been like 20 minutes, so bring gloves. Check that out. There's a little mica flake in there. Let's see if I can get it out for you without snapping it in half. There, so you'll find mica here too, as well as bits and pieces of smoky quartz. But those are probably the nicest pieces of mica so far, so it's really nothing. And the smoky quartz is also really nothing, but those are the other things that are here, other than clay. Here's what they look like in the rocks. But there's also, this is where I was, Besednice. But there's also many locations. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Most of them were the teardrop shape or the rounds. And when you get ones that have the squished in part, it's because the centrifugal force of them being thrown through the air as they were cooling pushed the masses to the outskirts. A lot of pieces you find are broken because of internal stress in the glass. So even when they sat there in the earth covered in sediment, they could crack, you know, thousands of years later. But because of the water etching, usually the area that it cracked in the earth will have a finer wrinkle effect rather than a bigger wrinkle effect. So, you know, you get things like this happening. But that's why a lot of the full teardrops and stuff are harder to get. There's my hand, for example, but there's some big ones in there. And then, of course, inside all these alien-like tubes, there's some pretty cool big ones. I'll show you. Like here, for example. Oh, too much backlight, I think. You can just come check it out yourself because it's a pretty cool museum. It explains a lot. I feel like I understand tektites a lot more now. Having known a bunch about stone, I feel like I still understand more now. Let me show you these with the massive wrinkles. These were some killer statement ones in there. Anyway, tons of them here. Lots left in the ground, actually, based on what I'm seeing. They're scattered all throughout southern Bohemia. It's just a matter of digging them. There's a lot of illegal digs where it's basically holes everywhere in the forest, kind of ruining the landscape and messing with farm fields and stuff. But there's still plenty in the ground. Yeah, and the rest you can come learn for yourself.